We have seen that when a moving charge particle enters into a uniform magnetic field, it basically follows a circular path. And we have to use this in the explanation of cyclotron, as name indicate that cyclotron basically cycle, and the positive particle, proton, neutron, like you can say. So here into the explanation of cyclotron, the principle is what? The frequency of the revolution of a charged particle. We know now that the charged particle revolve into the uniform magnetic field. The frequency of the charged particle is basically independent from the energy, speed or radius of orbit. Frequency of revolution of a charged particle in a magnetic field is independent from the energy, speed or radius of orbit of the charged particle. So this is the principle. We have seen that in a uniform magnetic field, a charged particle follow the circular path. This is our charged particle, this is velocity v, q, and this is force F. This force basically acts like a centripetal force, and this is the important point. This Lorentz force acts like a centripetal force, and this is the point only. We know that Lorentz magnetic force F is equal to QVB. This is maximum only when it enters perpendicularly into the magnetic field, and this acts like a centripetal force. By the definition of centripetal force, you know that mv square upon 2, mv square upon r. So this is our centripetal force. Here theta is 90 degree. So the maximum force, magnetic force here acts like a centripetal force, and because of that this charged particle moves in a circle. So QVB is equal to mv square upon r. From this relation we have to find out the radius of this circle, and suppose that is small r. So from V this cancel out, and r you can write here, that is equal to mv upon qb. So r is defined in terms of the, if m is the mass of the charged particle, v is the velocity, and b is the uniform magnetic field which is perpendicular to the direction of velocity. So here r is depend only mass of the charged particle, velocity, q and b. And into the modified form you can write this radius formula like v q upon m into b. So if you analyze this formula, this r, q upon m is the specific charge for that particular ion, that will be constant, and it varies basically from particle to particle. So q upon m is the specific charge of that particular ion, magnetic field which you have applied here, that is constant. So R is directly based on the velocity. R is directly proportional to the velocity. If velocity will increase, radius of the circle will increase. If velocity will remain constant, radius of this circle will remain constant. Because these two factors, Q upon M, that is a specific charge of that particular ion, so it is constant. And similarly, the magnetic field which is applied, that is also constant. So these two quantities are constant. As a result, you are looking here that R is directly proportional to V. V is the velocity of this charged particle. So radius of this circle is directly depends on the velocity of the charged particle. Now, you have seen that here in the principle of this cyclotron, which basically developed in 1934 by Lawrence in USA, is independent from the energy, speed and radius. And all these three are basically depends on each other. And the point is frequency. Frequency of this charged particle, how many revolutions it basically complete in 1 second. That frequency is independent from the velocity, radius, energy of this charged particle. So this is the principle, and here this is the idea from the Lorentz magnetic force. Now the construction point of view. Here we have placed these two segments, which is known as D's. So these are two D's, D1 and D2. This is magnet, north and south, north pole, and the bottom of this one is south pole. Electromagnet. This electromagnet is totally different from the natural magnet. This is based on different principle. So the lower portion is south and upper part is north. Here upper portion is north and lower part is south. So the magnetic field is applied perpendicular to the D's. These two D's, D1 and D2, are connected with high frequency oscillator. The high frequency oscillator is of the order of 10⁻⁷ Hertz. High potential basically oscillator. So frequency is so high. Frequency of this oscillator, high potential, is applied to the D's, and D's are kept like this one horizontally. Magnetic field is applied perpendicularly from north to south, and these D's are connected like this one. Here a window is open. This W basically represents the window. Window is in this particular D. These D's basically are hollow inside, and this is our source from where a positive ion emits. Positive ion will emit from here, and it will be attracted by the any one of the D's, D1, either D1 or D2. It basically depends on the polarity of the D's, and this polarity change because of this alternating frequency oscillator. If you know about the alternating current, you know that current varies like this one. 0 reference, positive, negative. This is one cycle. This is one cycle. In a one cycle, alternating current basically from here to here is positive, and then after it is negative. So half semicircle is positive, half is positive. So polarity is positive when it is upward, polarity is negative when it is downward. So here a ion basically emits, and this ion attracted by one of the D's. Suppose this D was at positive potential and this was at negative potential initially. So this is our positive ion, and an electric field basically will apply in between these two D's towards the D1 in the beginning, and as a result the gap is very small in between these D1 and D2, two D's, and both D's are hollow like this one. These D's are like this one hollow, and like two D's, and charge ion is here. When this D1 is at negative potential, higher negative potential, it will attract this ion, or in a proper language, scientific language, this will be at positive potential, this will be at negative. So the electric field in between the two D's will be towards this D1, from D to D1. Ion is kept at the center. So a force, electric force will apply on the ion, and as a result this ion enter into this D's. As soon as this ion enter into the D's, it follows the circular path. Why circular path? Because inside of the D there is no electric field. This charged particle is shielded from the electric field, so there is only magnetic field, and as a magnetic field, that magnetic field is perpendicular to the direction of velocity, so as a result that will follow the circular path. So this ion will follow the semicircle. It will follow this circle, and this is the radius of this particular semicircle. Now what happens basically? When this charged particle enters into this particular D1, D, so and reach at this particular end, the oscillator is designed into this way that it changes their own polarity. For an example, this ion is at this particular point and reach up to the here at the same time. This is positive, this is negative. Similarly, when that follows the path into the D1, it is positive, and when it completes the path, it becomes D1 becomes negative, D2 becomes negative, and it becomes positive. So at this particular point, right at the particular D1, when it completes the semicircle, this ion, D2 is at negative potential and this one is the positive potential. So now the potential is negative of this D2, so the electric field direction will be from D1 to D2. So the force on the ion will be QE, and when the ion enter into this particular region, which is lies in between the two D's, this ion get accelerated because of this force. You know, A is equal to this QE upon M. This is the acceleration. By this ion get accelerated and enter with high energy into these D's. So now the velocity is increasing, as a result kinetic energy of the ion is increasing, so the radius of the ion will increase. And again, when this ion complete the semicircle and reach up to here, the oscillator basically change their polarity, and now it becomes positive and this becomes negative. So at this point, when it reach here, oscillator change their polarity and becomes negative. D1 now is negative, and again this ion travel into the free space in the presence of electric field, where it get accelerated again, and as a result the kinetic energy of the particle increases, and hence the radius is also increasing. And again same the principle, as soon as this ion complete the semicircle, at the same time this high frequency oscillator, which is designed into this way that change their polarity. So here when this ion reach here, these basically change their polarity, and again this becomes negative and the D1 becomes positive. So the electric field direction will be from D1 to D2, and as a result this ion travels through the space and get accelerated. Again the kinetic energy increases, and hence more bigger semicircle, and the process basically continues. Every time when it crosses these D's, energy of the ions increases. Energy of the ion increases, it means radius of this circle is increasing, and hence when this ion get enough energy equivalent to the radius of this D, it basically comes out through this window, and it comes through the using by two deflecting plates. We know the charge on ion, that is positive. If we use a positive plate, that will reflect, that will repel the positive ion, and we can provide a path to that positive ion. So this positive ion comes out through this window with enough energy and hit the target. If target is kept here, target is basically maybe a nucleus, maybe a solid material. What kind of basically studies we are doing, it based on that. But what is the important point now? Here we have seen that the time taken by the ion to complete a small semicircle and a bigger circle in a particular D's are same, and that time matches with the frequency of the oscillator. So whether that ion complete a small circle or bigger, larger circle, in every case that takes the same time. Time is same. So here we have seen that radius is independent from the specific charge and magnetic field that depends on the velocity of the charged particle, and velocity of the charged particle is increasing because of the electric field, not because of the magnetic field. Electric field is responsible for accelerating the ion. Magnetic field contribution is just to revolve into the circle. This part, this is the contribution of only magnetic field, and acceleration is coming through this electric field. So every time when this ion comes into the free space means that gap into D1 and D2, it gets accelerated. Every time it is accelerating, so whenever it comes into the 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 7 times, 100 times, every time its energy is increasing. So how much energy basically is required for that particular experiment, that is defined through this one. So we decide through this window that how much energy basically we require. And now what is the physics? Physics is the time. A small semicircle or bigger one, every time ion is taking the same time, and this high frequency oscillator is also designed into this way. When the ion complete the semicircle, it also complete the semicircle. And in terms of the polarity, when we are using the words polarity, polarity means the positive or negativity type of electrode. It becomes positive, it becomes negative into one circle, and into this next one it is changing the polarity. So electric field is basically developing, and the electric field is, the strength of the electric field is constant, but it gets accelerated within this space. So the next purpose is to check the frequency of this oscillation, and that frequency will be frequency of this oscillator. How to find out that?